ولا أعضاء له. كان الله ولا مكان، فهو الآن على ما عليه كان. فلا تضربوا لله الأمثال، ولله المثل الأعلى. تنزه ربي عن الجلوس والقعود، وعن الحركة والسكون، وعن الاتصال والانفصال. لا يحل فيه شيء، ولا ينحل منه شيء، ولا يحل هو في شيء، لأنه ليس كمثله شيء. مهما تصورت ببالك فالله لا يشبه ذلك. ومن وصف الله بمعنى من معاني البشر فقد كفر. وأشهد أن سيدنا وعظيمنا وقائدنا وقرة أعيننا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله ونبيه وصفيه وحبيبه وخليله، أرسله الله هدى ورحمة للعالمين، هاديا ومبشرا ونذيرا، وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه سراجا وهاجا وقمرا منيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وأعظم وأنعم وأكرم على هذا النبي الكريم سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين. كلما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا عظيم الجاه. I praise Allah, I glorify Him and I thank Him for all the blessings that He gives without Him being obligated. And I ask Allah to raise the rank of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and to protect his Muslim nation. I testify no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah, the one without a partner, the one without an equal, the one without a similar, the one who is unlike anything in the universe and nothing in the universe is like Him. He has no father, no mother, no sister, no brother, no son, and no daughter. He exists without time and place because He is the creator of time and place. He does not reside above the throne and He is not attributed with fatigue like the non-Muslims say. Our Lord is glorified beyond any imperfection that the non-Muslims attribute to Him. Whatever you imagine in your mind, Allah Ta'ala does not resemble that. And whoever attributes an attribute of the creations to Allah is outside of Al-Islam. And I testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the son of Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim, the son of Abdul Manaf, from the tribe of Quraysh, is the best creation of Allah and His final prophet and messenger sent to all humans and jinn, and He is truthful about everything He conveyed of the revelation. Thereafter we remind ourselves to have the sincere intention for the sake of Allah in attending this session of Islamic knowledge, because having the sincere intention is a requirement to get the reward. So the Muslim, whenever he does a good deed, he has to have the sincere intention for the sake of Allah to get reward for that good deed. The reward is defined as the compensation that the Muslim receives in the hereafter for the good deeds that he did in this life among what makes him happy. An example of the reward that is guaranteed to the righteous Muslim in the grave is that his grave is expanded approximately 105 feet by 105 feet, and his grave is illuminated with a light similar to the light of the full moon, and the fragrance of paradise will be present in the grave. The sincere intention means for the Muslim to do the good deed, seeking the acceptance of Allah only, and not the praise of the people. So alhamdulillah, we are grateful to Allah that we have been guided to al-Islam, because Islam is the only true religion, the only valid religion, the only accepted religion by the Creator of the universe. As per the explicit verses of the Quran, Inna ad-deena inda Allahi al-Islam, which means indeed Islam is the only accepted religion to Allah. And وَمَن يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَمَن يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَن يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ, which means indeed the one who seeks a religion other than al-Islam, it will never be accepted from him, and in the hereafter he will be among the losers. They will be among the losers because the one who seeks a religion other than al-Islam and they die as accountable non-Muslims, they will go to hellfire forever. And so that is the greatest loss. We seek refuge with Allah. And we are grateful and thankful to Allah that we have been guided to the knowledge of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, which is the knowledge that is authenticated and validated and connected to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the connected chains, the authenticated chains. That is the only way for us to be sure that we are following the straight path. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's the one who received the revelation, and so he's the one that is the authority in Islam. He's the one that is the authority in the Quran. He's the one that was sent by the Creator of the universe as the final prophet and messenger to teach the people the Quran, the meanings of the Quran, and to teach the people the steps that they need to take in order for them to walk on the straight path. There is no other way for the Muslim to make sure that he's walking on the straight path except by following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No one can be accepted by Allah except by following Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And no one can follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam except if they have the knowledge and the teachings that he taught. And no one can have the knowledge and the teachings that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught except through a chain of transmission. Because if you were not there during his time and you did not learn from him directly, then you have to have acquired the knowledge that he taught those people who learned from him directly, and so on and so forth, through a chain until reaching us today. So Allah Ta'ala has blessed this Muslim nation and preserved for them the teachings of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and preserved for them the Quran, the final revelation. And Allah Ta'ala specified this nation that they will never go astray in the creed. So the majority of the people who claim to be Muslim, they will always have the correct creed, and a minority amongst the people who claim to be Muslim, they will have a different creed. So we'll give one example as we usually do, which is that if you take a poll, if you take an analysis of the people who claim to be Muslim, if you grouped all the people who identify as Muslim together, and you ask them this question, you ask them, don't we have to follow the Quran and the Hadith and the consensus? The majority of them, they would say yes. The majority of the people who call themselves Muslims, they would say yes. And so this tells us that they are on the correct creed. Because the Prophet ﷺ, when he told us that those who identify as Muslims will split up into 73 groups, he said all of them would be in hell except for one. And he described that one as the congregation, as the vast majority, and as those who follow what me and my companions are upon, yani of the creed. So in terms of the creed and what we believe, the majority of the people who claim to be Muslim, they are on the correct creed, and it will always remain that way, whether you take that statistic from the time of the Prophet ﷺ until now, or whether you take that statistic just as a snapshot of today. Alhamdulillah. So now we're going back to our regularly scheduled series, which is Defending the Chosen. And this obviously, that introduction, it goes along with it. Because nowadays you see very strongly, I don't know if some Muslims are paying attention, but nowadays very strongly the non-Muslims, those who hate Islam, and those who are misguided, and those who they want a different system other than the system of Islam, these people, they are attacking the character of the prophets, and they are attacking the teachings of the prophets. They are attacking what the prophets taught and what they came with, and the morals and ethics that the prophets came with, and they are attacking the prophets themselves. So one of the ways that they attack is they make up lies about the prophets. That's one way, and was the main way that the enemies of Islam, that they used to attack the prophets, is by making up lies about them, to slander them. And nowadays, what a lot of people do in order to attack the prophets is that they don't, they'll say something true about a prophet, but what they'll do is they'll say, whoever does that or whoever teaches that, then they are evil. So they just judge the prophets as evil for implementing and conveying and judging according to what the creator of the universe revealed to them. So, of course, we'll talk about both things, but right now we are clarifying and dispelling the slander that the non-Muslims have said about the prophets. So one thing, or the last thing that we mentioned, one of the last things that we mentioned is that some people, they falsely accuse Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam of lying. And so, like we mentioned at the beginning of these classes, that there's something called impeccability. There's something called infallibility. This is the Arabic, or it's coming from the Arabic term al-isma, which is referring to a protection that the prophets have, that they are protected from anything that would negate the status of prophethood, that would tarnish their credibility, that would make people repelled away from them, that would make people not believe in them. So everything about the prophets, they were made and specified to have the best physical attributes and the best character, so that no one would have any objective grounds to not follow them and to not listen to them. So they're protected from birth until death. They're protected from lying. They're protected from vileness. They're protected from betrayal. They're protected from anything that would negate the status of prophethood. Also, because if someone, let's say, if a person, if they chose as their messenger or representative a liar, then that would make that person who chooses a liar as their messenger a fool. It would make them unwise. And so for sure, Allah Ta'ala, the creator of the universe, is the most wise. And for sure, He is not attributed with foolishness. So the creator of the universe would not choose someone as His messenger that is a liar, or someone who is vile, or someone who commits enormous sins, or someone who commits blasphemy. So these are things that the prophets, they're not attributed with. None of the prophets are attributed with lying. None of the prophets are attributed with vileness. None of the prophets are attributed with enormous sins or blasphemy or any character flaw that would repel the people away from them. So what some people say about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, that he told 3 lies, this is itself a lie, because the prophets never lie. Now, what is narrated in the hadith referring to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, it doesn't mean that he lied. Yani, some people, they misinterpret a hadith that is mentioned in that hadith. It's mentioned a certain wording. So the people who they take it upon themselves and they have the audacity to dive headfirst into the Islamic sciences ignorantly, without the proper tutelage, without the proper formal understanding, the formal learning, without acquiring it from a teacher, just them reading on their own and interpreting things from their perspective or from their opinion or from their desires or from their level of understanding. So they read something and then they say, oh, this means that Prophet Ibrahim lied. And we say, no, that's not the case. The terms of the hadith, are لم يكذب إبراهيم عليه السلام إلا 3 كذبات ثنتين منهن في ذات الله عز وجل إني سقيم قوله إني سقيم وقوله بل فعله كبيرهم هذا. And then in part of the narration it says, when he said about Lady Sarah, أختي. So we say that this narration, and in the term إلا 3 كذبات, we say that it does not mean a lie. Yani the term إلا 3 كذبات, the meaning of it is not a lie. Yani what's meant by it is not a lie. Even though the term كذبات is used. So that's the issue where some people fell, is that they said the term kadhibat, or they saw the term kadhibat or kithbat, and they said this means lying. And we say it doesn't mean lying. It doesn't mean lying. And also, there are some imams that they just rejected this narration itself. And that this narration is not relied upon in the creed. So some imams, they just rejected it because the classification of that hadith isn't to the level of it being accepted. And some imams, they said if it was confirmed, if that narration is confirmed, then it would be interpreted as that which it appears to be a lie. That which someone might think that it's a lie, but it's not really a lie. So, in any case, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam did not lie. So this is the where we left off, or we're explaining that case, and we gave the meanings. So we said that when he said "Inni saqim," which literally means I am sick, like with an illness. So we said that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had a condition where he would get inflicted with a sort of sickness. Of course, that's not repulsive. A sickness that, and it's the type of sickness that the prophets are inflicted with, not something that repels people away, not something disgusting or something that would make people want to get away from them. And it was something like a very severe headache. Something like a very severe headache. So Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he would get that periodically. And this would occur to him periodically. And so he, and it was like something that happened regularly. So it was the time when this sickness usually happens to him. So that's what is the meaning of inni saqim. I am in that time that usually this sickness occurs. That affliction that he gets, it occurs. So that's not a lie. Yes, sir. When? Like, what is the time that he gets it? Like, if it's like a certain time of day or like a certain time of the month, you mean? Is that what you mean? No, that he was in the time, or in that time where he gets that sickness. You get what I'm saying? Like it was the time where he usually gets that sickness. So that's for that part, where he said inni saqim. Then for the other one, bal fa'alahu kabiruhum hadha, where Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, and we told the story in detail last time, but basically the short version is Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he destroyed the statues and the idols of the people that he was sent to call them to al-Islam in their temple. He destroyed the idols. And then when his people came back from their hedonistic festival of debauchery and sins, they saw, and so after Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam broke all the statues, he took the axe that he had used and he hung it on the big statue, on the main statue that they had. So when they saw that, they saw their statues were broken, they immediately suspected and accused Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam of doing that. And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said, "Bal fa'alahu kabiruhum hadha," and as is mentioned in the Quran, which literally means rather the big idol or the largest idol did it. So we say that this is not a lie because the attribution of the action in the Arabic language, it is a style of speaking, it is a way of articulating, or that method of articulation also existed in the language of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is attributing the action to the cause of the action. Attributing the action to the cause of the action. So this is something that is valid, something that is, and it's a proper way of speaking, it's a style of articulation, because that big idol, the idol worshippers, obviously they aggrandized it and worshipped it the most, and Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was hoping that through this and a physical, tangible manifestation of the invalidity of them worshiping those statues, that they would snap out of their delusion and they would stop worshiping those idols. So, but they didn't, of course, because they were stubborn. So we're going to continue on. Oh, and the third thing, the third one that people claim that he lied is when he was passing through the lands of a tyrant king who had a fetish for raping other men's wives. And so Lady Sarah, the wife of Prophet Abraham alayhi salam, she was the most beautiful woman on earth at the time. And when he was passing through, the agents of the Pharaoh, that tyrant ruler, they spotted her, and so they approached them and they asked Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam about her, and he said, she is my sister, meaning my sister in Islam. And so again, this is not a lie, this is a valid way of speaking, because the phrase, she is my sister, it can bear more than one meaning. And those agents, they didn't, I guess, catch or were aware or pick up on the fact that he meant the other meaning of my sister and a sister in Islam, as opposed to biological sister. Now, another thing that some people slander Prophet Ibrahim about is they say that he doubted about God's power. So another story that some people misunderstand about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he asked Allah that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam asked Allah to be enabled to see, that Prophet Ibrahim would be enabled to see what it looks like when the dead are resurrected. So Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam asked Allah Ta'ala to show him what it looks like when the dead are resurrected. Not because Prophet Ibrahim is doubting, does Allah have the power to resurrect the dead? No. Some people misunderstand the story and they think that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is asking from a place of doubting that Allah has the power to resurrect the dead. But that's absolutely incorrect. Whoever believes about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam that he doubted about God's power, that person can never be a Muslim. Instead, what Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam wanted is to witness what it looks like when Allah Ta'ala resurrects the dead, not because he was doubting about whether or not Allah Ta'ala has the power to resurrect the dead. So our Master Ibrahim alayhi salam never doubted about the power of Allah. Rather, Allah Ta'ala guided Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam and granted him and endowed him with the definite, certain creed and belief from a young age. And when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam received the revelation and he was given prophethood and he was sent as a messenger to teach the people al-Islam, obviously that remained. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he never wavered or doubted. He had the strong, firm conviction without any doubts about Allah from a young age. And Allah Ta'ala, He gave Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam a strong mind by which to refute and silence the non-Muslims, like what happened with Nimrod, when Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam told Nimrod, Allah Ta'ala is the one who creates life and death. So Nimrod obviously didn't have the proper understanding, and he brought a person that was set to be executed and set him free, and he brought an innocent man and executed him. And so he told Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam that, look, he creates life and death. So then Prophet Ibrahim responded by telling him that Allah Ta'ala is the one who makes the sun rise from the east. Let's see you make it rise from the west. And so the Pharaoh, the evil tyrant Nimrod, was silenced. So Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he desired to see what it looks like when Allah Ta'ala resurrects the dead, and he wanted Nimrod and his followers to witness that Allah Ta'ala is the one that has power over all things. And so Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he made supplication to Allah that it be shown to him how the dead are resurrected, and what it looks like when the dead are resurrected. So the part in the ayah where it says قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي, it means I am a firm believer without any doubt, without any shadow of a doubt, and my nafs wants to see this with my eye so that I can feel that comfort of seeing it with my eye, and so that my definitive firm belief and creed would increase and get higher. My definitive firm belief would get higher. Not that he doubted at all. No. And so it did happen, and Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was given that. And so this is that story. Some people misunderstand it and they think that Prophet Ibrahim doubted about the power of Allah. Now we're going to defend Prophet Lut alayhi salam against some of the things that some people claim about him, which is a very ugly thing. Na'udhu billah. Not even one of us would do it. So what some people claim about Prophet Lut alayhi salam, and of course whoever claims that about Prophet Lut, they exit from Islam and they would blaspheme. They claim that Prophet Lut, that he offered his daughters for fornication. So na'udhu billah, it should be known that Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he would never offer up his daughters to be fornicated, for fornication. So we're going to explain what happened and make it clear. So as you know, Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he is a prophet that was sent to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and to call them to do what is correct, and to call them to do what is right, to leave out the evil act that they did, or that they had invented, and that they had they're the first ones to do it, which is the act of sodomy. And this act is a known act, and so obviously this is an evil act, and the first ones to do it, and to have these desires and this type of sexual perversion for men, were the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. So they were lusting after men. So let's look at the ayah, what it says. The ayah is talking about that Allah Ta'ala, He sent angels to Prophet Lut in the form of men. And when angels take the form of men, their beauty is unmatched. Just envision what an angel in the form of a man would look like. Of course, he would look otherworldly, and with above average beauty, etc. So Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he was not aware that they were angels at first. He thought that they were travelers passing by, visitors. So Prophet Lut was trying to give them hospitality. So Prophet Lut alayhi salam was, obviously he knew the situation of his people, so he got those angels, he got them into his house quickly, so that nobody would see him. And what happened is that his wife, the wife of Prophet Lut, who was an evil woman, but of course she did not commit adultery on him, she was just a disbeliever, an evil woman, a vile woman. She went and told the people, the men of Sodom and Gomorrah, the homosexuals, that Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he has in his house the most beautiful men that they probably ever see. So at this point, then the homosexuals, the men from the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, they went to his house. They went to the house of Prophet Lut alayhi salam. And they were basically saying, like, let them out. Let us have them. Let them come out. Basically like getting, it was like a mob. A mob of homosexual men lusting for these three, what they thought were men. So Prophet Lut alayhi salam, because he's a prophet, and the prophets, what do? They try to help the person to obey God. So he didn't want them to commit this immoral and perverse sexual act. And so Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he offered instead for them to marry his daughters. So he offered his daughters in marriage. And it's so that they can do what is halal, so that they can do what is permissible. But they refused. They did not want. They did not want the women. They didn't want women. They wanted the men. So when at that point those angels, they told Prophet Lut that they're angels, that they came to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. So the angels, they opened the door, and with their wing, with the tip of their wing, they blinded all of those men. So they struck the men and in their eyes, and they blinded them. And then the rest of the story as it happened. But the point that we wanted to focus on is to refute the lie that some people tell about Prophet Lut. They claim that in order to try to dissuade the homosexuals from raping what he thought were the men that were guests in his house, they claim that Prophet Lut offered his daughters to them for fornication, and that's not the case. So that's what the reality of what was mentioned in the Quran. The part of the verse, وَجَاءَهُ قَوْمُهُ يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ وَمِن قَبْلُ كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ هَؤُلَاءِ بَنَاتِي هُنَّ أَطْهَرُ لَكُمْ فاتقوا الله ولا تخزون في ضيفي أليس منكم رجل رشيد. So the verse means that the people, those homosexuals, they came to Prophet Lut alayhi salam, and Prophet Lut, he told them, "O people, these are my daughters. They are permissible for you. They are purer for you." Meaning, in marriage, meaning you can marry them and do things in the halal way. And they responded in a harsh way. They said, "We don't want your daughters." They said, وَإِنَّكَ لَتَعْلَمُ مَا نُرِيدُ نَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ. They said, "And surely you know what it is that we want." They wanted what they thought was the men. Na'udhu billah. So when there was the few people that were Muslims and that they were repentant and that they followed Prophet Lut, they were ordered to leave the city, and they left the city. And then the rest of them that were there, they were stones of fire rained down upon them, and Angel Jibreel, he took one of the feathers from his wing with the tip of it, and he uprooted the 7 cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, lifted them really high in the sky up until they got close to the first heaven. Then he flipped it upside down and he slammed it, and they were all annihilated. May Allah protect us. So also on this subject we'll say that some people, they present a fallacy. They say, can't a man love another man? So we say love by itself doesn't equal to physical sexual contact. So a man can love another man, but that doesn't mean that that man has to have sexual contact with that man. A man might have lustful sexual desires for another man, but he has to repress those. So just, let's say, having the desire does not justify acting upon it. Just like if someone lusted, let's say, after their own mother or their own sister or their own daughter, that would not justify acting upon that lust, even if it was consensual. So this is an easy way to debunk the justification of the homosexuals. There is no justification. If they say, this is how I feel, or this is what I want, this is what I like, we say that this is something that you have to go against. Just like, let's say, if someone, they were inclined towards drinking alcohol, they had the urge to drink alcohol, they have to leave it out. even amongst the person who they have the natural desire for the opposite gender, if they desire to, let's say, have intercourse, like if a man desires to have intercourse with a woman, but she's not his wife, then he cannot fulfill that urge. He has to suppress it. He can't act on it. So similarly, if a man has sexual desire for another man, he is not allowed to act on it. This is forbidden. And as far as love doesn't equal to lust. So a man can love another man without wanting to have any sexual contact with him, or without having sexual desire for him. So loving a person of the same gender is okay. It's the issue of the lust and the sexual desire. If they do have it within them, they have to suppress it. They have to go against it. Another thing that some people they say about Prophet Lut alayhi salam, that is a lie, and also it's blasphemous to say. So what we mentioned about what some people claim about him offering his daughters for fornication, of course that's blasphemy, because it's not befitting the status of prophethood to do that. And of course prophets would never commit an enormous sin, and to assist someone in an enormous sin is an enormous sin itself. So of course Prophet Lut would never do that, and whoever believes that Prophet Lut would do that blasphemes. And this next thing that we're going to mention, for sure, it would be blasphemy to believe that or to say that about Prophet Lut. Some people, they claim that the name of Prophet Lut is derived from the act of sodomy, from the name of sodomy in the Arabic language. Because the name of sodomy in the Arabic language is liwat. And some people think that the name of Prophet Lut is derived from the name of that action. And so this is incorrect, and of course that is a slander. Allah Ta'ala protected the prophets from anything repulsive. An example of something repulsive is like their name being derived and taken from an ugly, disgusting thing, from an ugly, disgusting act, or from a disgusting manner or disgusting character. So whoever attributes to the prophets an ugly name, then that person has degraded them, and degrading the prophets is blasphemy. So how could some people find it within themselves? Some people who claim to be linguists, or among the linguists, claim that the name Lut is taken from al-liwat. So whoever said that, for sure it's invalid linguistically and religiously. So beware of the speech of the one who says this among the so-called linguists. Allah Ta'ala protected the prophets alayhimus salam from their names being vile, or derived from something vile, or taken from something repulsive. So one proof against the fact that the name Lut is not taken from, or some people claim that the name Lut is taken from al-liwat. So one proof to refute that is that the name Lut is an Arabic name. And so it's an original Arabic name. And so it's an original Arabic word. So if it was the case that I'm sorry, the name Lut is a foreign name. It's a foreign noun. It's not an Arabic noun. So this foreign noun, since it is originally from another language, then in Arabic it would not be derived from an Arabic word. So since the term Lut is a foreign language word, then for sure it is not derived from liwat, which is an Arabic word. اللواط لفظ عربي وهو مصدر لاط وأما لوط فهو اسم أعجمي فكيف يدعي مدع أنه مشتق من اللواط وكذلك عكسه وهو القول بأن اللواط مأخوذ من لوط فلفظ اللواط كان قبل قوم لوط لأن اللغة العربية لغة قديمة. So the term Lut is not derived from the Arabic gerund al-liwat, and the Arabic gerund al-liwat is not derived from the word Lut, because the term al-liwat existed before the people of Lut, because the Arabic language is an ancient language, to the extent that some scholars said the first language that Prophet Adam spoke alayhi salam is Arabic. And a proof for that is the confirmed hadith that Adam alayhi salam, when he first came to life, he sneezed and he said Alhamdulillah. So the term al-liwat existed before that. So the children of Adam and those that came after them, they knew the term lata with all of its derivations, lata, yalutu, liwatan, just as they know the word az-zina and its derivations, zana, yazni, zina. So the point is that the word existed before Prophet Lut alayhi salam, before the people of Lut. And remember, the people of Lut alayhi salam, they were the first people to do this vile and immoral act. Among the linguists, among the imams of the Arabic language that refuted that claim is Az-Zajjaj. So do not be deceived. Do not be deceived if that ugly statement is mentioned in some of the books of the language. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. Next week, inshallah, we'll talk about Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, and we will dispel some of the slander that was mentioned about him or said about him. Wal-'iyadhu billah. If there are no questions, we'll conclude. طيب نهلل لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم رب اغفر لي وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات وبارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم. What happened to the